hello. I gotta turn it round. I always do this. Okay, hello. You are listening to the sounds of King Crash. It's actually an exclusive track that you haven't heard yet. This is the Quickfix chat thing where we chat with people who are on the singles club, and hopefully they'll work out the technology, join in the chat, and then I'll add them. And yeah, apparently it's telling all my followers that they've got a live video going on. So, if you don't know what the singles club is, it's basically really simple. You join the club, you get a fresh track every month from someone you've never heard of. We use your money that you pay for your subscription to put into the band's promo, because promo is really expensive and Spotify doesn't pay, and neither does anything else in music. Nothing crash, so hopefully I weird. Yeah. I can't say. Yeah, there you go.
Hi.
It worked. Hey, we got technology
Yeah.
actually worked. Amazing.
Yeah, it did.
And this is actually our
First
first ever
time for
time
me.
face to face, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
We've
It's funny to
chatted
see.
for
This is a lead it,
bizarre,
right?
isn't it? We've chatted for a year, I would say.
Yeah, we've been, yeah, we've been chatting a lot. It's been really great.
We've been on a journey.
I'd say so. Yep.
Yeah. So okay. So you are Ryan from King Crash.
Yeah,
Tell
that's
everybody,
I'm Ryan.
just because the whole point of this kind of thing is so that people can get a bit of a grip on what you guys are about, what you're about, what you're doing, all that kind of business. So just tell us quickly. So what's your story? Californian, previous to New York, right?
Well, basically, I've been, at it for a long time, and this is a band that is. We were already a band called the Merrymakers Orchestrina.
Yeah.
But we changed personnel. We got Rubio in particular was a new
Yeah.
addition, but we've been with him for about a year at that point. So what happened was we just pushing it. Things were going slow. Everything. It's hard to get anywhere. On the venue
Of course.
scene,
Yeah.
promoting everything, and just basically when the quarantine started in New York, I was driving Uber and saw that you could. The police weren't pulling anybody over for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
They weren't doing anything. I was like, these guys are just not enforcing petty crimes. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. And I thought, I bet if we went outside and just started playing outside, people
Yeah.
might like it. We might actually make money. So my goal was to make 200 so I could pay the guys 100 each for
Right.
each show. And
Right.
so I went and bought. What's that?
Wicked. I was saying great. Yeah. Great plan.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wicked, totally. Wicked retarded, as they used to say here.
All right.
But can't anymore.
No, they don't say that anymore.
So no, that's outlawed. For I guess good reasons.
Yeah, probably good
I
reason.
shouldn't have
There's
said it.
some things we don't need to return to on there.
I mean, what's the use, right? If it's
Yeah,
a problem,
exactly.
forget it.
Yeah.
So I basically just went and bought a generator, and kind of Rubio was on board. So me and Rubio
Yeah.
were down here. Jack had moved up state with his girlfriend for the whole thing, so he was hard to get back over here, and they were really the people he was staying with were really afraid of COVID.
No,
So
they
we
won't
had
seem
to really
pleased
talk
with
him into
him
coming
going.
down. Yeah, it was all that sort of stuff. And both me and Rubio were working full time too, and we just really wanted to play. We were getting bummed out,
Sure.
and talking about it. So this was an idea, and the whole thing was to get Jack to come down and do it. Basically, we got him to. We tried it. I bought a generator on Craigslist for about $300, and you know, crossed our fingers and went out right away. And the first thing we did, we'd always had a problem with the name the Merrymakers Orchestrina, which was the band name before this.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's putting hearts. That's cute. So, and I've been saying we should change the name, and I wanted a name that was short that people would remember and stick with them. And this was actually a big move. Sorry, I'm in.
Are they coming for you? They've been watching this. They're like,
there we go.
This is the evidence. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
right
stick
around here. I'm in Harlem right now.
Oh, so it's just standard.
So actually, no. Chicken named Abdul. Oh no, that was in Bushwood. But the chicken named Abdul that's on our album, our Spotify album right now, was recorded down the street from here.
Oh right, yeah.
You know, we played it.
Yeah, wicked. The blues.
What's
that one called?
Yeah.
Blues, isn't it? Blues in.
I was gonna call it chicken
timing.
distancing.
Is it 7/8?
7/8?
No, is it
that
7/8 or is that the other one?
6/8.
That's the bass things.
That's one of the. So we have two songs in 7. One is our Space Invader. The middle section is in 7. That's the one where Rubio does this huge drum solo.
Yeah.
And we love that one, man.
Mm.
And then the other one is just a jam we did in Coney Island. That was in 7.
Yeah. I mean,
we have a song that we're developing, a full song that's really cool. Around that thing. We haven't worked it out yet, but I have the lyrics and everything. We just have to arrange it right.
When you were saying about the Merrymakers Orchestrina, the change of the name, I was thinking a lot about how the New Yardbirds went out as like the New Yardbirds, and then they realized they obviously had their own thing going and became Led Zeppelin, if you know what I mean. So
yeah. Well, they did it before with Clapton did it as Cream. You know, so Yardbirds put out both Cream and then Led Zeppelin later.
Right.
The Animals became, so this is interesting, the Animals became the Jimi Hendrix Experience. And also the last installment of that was War. They did War, and that was the last.
Wow, of course, yeah.
That was the last band that Hendrix actually played with before he died.
Really? I did not know that.
He jammed with them. Supposedly he was pretty high. And believe it or not, he could be so high that he wouldn't.
Jimi
he could be so high that he wasn't playing so well, like everybody else. What?
Yeah.
What's that?
They used to. I was just being facetious. I was saying, really, Jimi Hendrix. I wouldn't have imagined it.
Yeah.
But
drugs? Him?
But yeah.
Come on. But the thing is, everybody thought he got better when he did drugs, but really,
they'd say he'd take 2 to get to like normal, and then take another 2 to get to like where someone who'd taken 2 would be, if you know what I mean. So
I mean, he supposedly could take a lot of drugs.
Yeah, well, up until a point, at least. Yeah, but
I mean, like anybody. But he had a high tolerance for drugs.
There's I think. We just didn't see the point where he couldn't anymore. Maybe, do you know what I mean? So
he could pull it off, but he would even say he preferred playing sober. That's a big taboo thing that people gets overlooked. You know.
Oh really? I didn't know that at all. I've never heard that.
Yeah, he wasn't. He liked to get high for fun. You know.
He actually preferred.
But it wasn't like it got sensationalized as being like a big part of his music.
The wild man.
There's a lot of that. Like Jerry Garcia. There's a story where someone's saying, "Man, you transcend the whole human experience with your in the other dimensions when you take the acid and all this stuff." And he turned around and he said, "Well, maybe some people, but I just practice." You know, so there you go.
yeah, of course, yeah. But it's we were having an interesting conversation a while back. Obviously, we don't want to get into like the deepest, darkest areas of it, but you said something which I found really interesting. About the music was passed off as magic, like, and we should have said it was hard work. And there's something to that, like,
and that's a huge thing, and I think that has actually hurt artists since, because the public has a huge misconception about what it takes. They think it's just you're born with it and it's talent and all that. No, it's hard work, you know, and basically what happens today is we're expected to do all this other stuff, and we're treated like we're lazy and not doing anything if we're not doing the whole promo game. It's like we just get all this work passed off to us, and they ignore the fact that the best artists the way they become the best is they work their asses off at their art form. So really, the
Mm-hmm.
best way to judge someone who's good or how hard they work is how good they are. If they're good,
It's
if
to
they're
watch
really
them, yeah,
good,
literally
that
watch
means
them
they
play.
work
Yeah,
their
yeah.
ass off to get there. And if you expect them to do all this other stuff, then you're going to filter out the people who are the best because they don't have time to do everything. And you're going to get the people who are good
Or
at
that's not where
marketing and
their
promotion,
strengths,
and you're not going to
or
get the
that's
best
not
artists.
where their strengths
What's
lie,
that?
yeah. Or that's not where their
It
talents
also
lie
is, yeah,
anyway. So you're
honestly,
forcing them to do
most
something
great
that they,
artists are not going to be great at marketing.
yeah. So, well, I mean, that's kind of where Quickfix tries to kind of be, in the place where I can understand artists because I am one, but then at the same time,
Yeah.
you've got a load of people shouting outside as well. Yeah, yeah. So like we try and like bridge that thing where like we realize that artists aren't going to be amazing at all this stuff, so we can hopefully do a bit of that stuff as well and kind of augment what
I
they're
mean,
doing.
yeah, it's, it's a whole vehicle that's taken off on its own, and it's hard to figure out how to fight against it,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's,
But there's something to
I
that,
gotta
like
say, I feel like
people
we've
not
proven that it doesn't
realizing.
work over and over again.
Yeah, people
What's that?
not realize, but it is a big thing. People not realizing that music is hard work and it's hours and hours, and it's,
Yeah, it
you
needs to be
doing
respected for
it,
what it
and
is,
it's,
and that's,
yeah.
so that's one thing from the whole first wave of sensationalizing celebrities and everything. That was actually a mistake. Like they got too much credit, in a way,
Well,
for
yeah,
what
and
they were
it's also,
doing,
it's
instead
a
of being
team, isn't it?
respected for what they actually were doing. It
Every
is. It has to
individual
be a team. Everybody
is
needs
a
to have a
team, isn't it?
specialty. Like, yeah, it's some the artist makes the art form. They do the entertainment, and then the promoter promotes it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody spends all their time on doing what their specialty is, and that's
What
how
they're
you
good
get
at. Yeah.
the great music. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm right here on the street, guys. You don't want. I'm
There
not
you
going to say
go.
what I just
There's the
did with my
taste of
errand
New
over.
York. There's the taste of New
Yeah,
York.
no,
That's
I
that. You
do.
can't get more real than that, right?
Yeah. No,
So,
this is New York. We're in Washington. This is my old apartment right over here. That's where I lived when I started King Crash, and
yeah.
there's a whole story behind that too. I don't know if I can say it because it was completely illegal, but also I think I got and it helped me. It's the way I was able to afford to start a band. Honestly, it's
Right.
not selling
Yeah,
drugs or anything
probably
like
best
that.
not to.
But
Probably best not to say then,
it's
because
sort
this
of a
is
New
going to
York
be on
story.
here on YouTube, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, probably not a good idea to
Yeah,
say.
I don't want to get myself in trouble
No,
before I can even
there's no
afford
point.
to quit my day
That's for
job.
the autobiography, like many years later, isn't it? That's for the
What's that?
tell-all. That's for your autobiography years later.
Yeah,
That's
that's for my autobiography. When I'm 60, I'll write the life story, life and
the
times of
tell-all. Yeah.
Mr. Crash.
Wicked. Yeah, Mike Mikowski Christian there is saying you sound as good as the practice you put in, which, yeah, to a degree, I
Oh,
think that's
thank
totally
you,
true, isn't it?
thank you, my man. Yo, he's
That's
been a great. I know Mikowski. He's been really really nice and supportive. He
yeah,
actually even one of the first things he did was send us $100,
wicked,
which was
really.
so nice.
That's amazing.
And it just means so much when someone does that.
Of course, yeah. $100 means.
Yeah, I was like, hey, man,
Of course, it means
nice.
so much. What are you doing?
Yeah, he said buy some gloves because we were
So,
outside. We were outside
yeah, oh
playing in
really?
wintertime,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
we
got it
were
got
our
pretty
fans were
cold as
fucking
well.
freezing.
It got pretty cold
Well,
as well, didn't it?
oh yeah, man, we played right in the middle of some of the. Okay, so that we have a video right now of Rubio doing this huge drum solo on Space Invader that we're putting out. It's the one it's the recording that's on our live album. We were playing in the freezing cold when we did that. He was wearing fingerless gloves, you know, but that I went and bought one day. So we were out there. We're like, man, we need some gloves,
Wicked.
And so I got those. Now those worked for him, but for me and Jack, they didn't work because our fingers were still exposed and
Yeah.
touching the fretboards.
Yeah, yeah. Just ice blocks.
That was
Ice
serious,
blocks
man.
hitting the frets. Sliding ice
What's
up
that?
and down the frets. Just ice block fingers.
Oh yeah, I mean, it really, our fingers were numb. We couldn't feel what we were doing. You know, it got by the end of the show, it's like, sorry, we're gonna have to stop. You know, but we went a ways, and then we were surprised listening back that it sounds okay. You know, because we
Yeah, yeah,
really, it was getting, we just couldn't feel we couldn't feel the guitars. You know,
yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
a
Good thing you practiced.
good thing we practiced. Yeah, it's all muscle memory
Yeah. So
from
then,
numb,
so then,
frozen muscles.
so your new, so all the stuff that you've been talking about here is on your live album, which is streaming now, isn't it? Basically, all these
Yes,
recordings,
you know,
all
not, I
these
mean, not
times.
all of like, yeah, we have some, we just picked with you, remember, we picked
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
you've been a great help through this whole thing, just talking to you,
Thank you.
everything. It's really, you know, whatever goes on, I'm just glad we talk openly, so we go to
Yeah.
all these places, end up talking real and getting into all this stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
we picked songs, we tried to pick a variety, something that represents a variety of recordings from throughout the whole thing. To be honest, we could have put 30 more songs out there. We just had so much material from all this,
I, wa-
in that genre of the iPhone recorded.
when we first started talking about it, I was saying we should put out like a 3 hour live album.
You know, and I should have done it when you said to do it. We done it back then. Yeah, man. I know you were right. You know,
but
you were right on the money.
but yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
in our defense, dude, working full time and doing
Yeah,
this and doing everything, just what the hell can you do at a point?
yeah,
It's got to
I know.
break, you know.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it took as long as it did to just get all this stuff out, and I think part of that is just it only is done when it's done. Do you know what I mean? And you can only get it out there when you can get it
Yeah,
out there. And if you're busy playing and you're busy, do you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
What are you
that's
going to
really
do?
what it was in deciding. We were done. We could have done it a year ago, and it would have been great because at that time. So we've had a lot of people aren't aware of this, but the reason we're not playing out anymore as much is because we get stopped in the areas where we were making money, you know, to
Yeah,
pay
of
for it.
course. Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's
and
back
that's,
to
you know,
normal.
like we always said it, but yeah, you know, and that happened after they came back. Right directly, they started doing it as soon as it became 2021. It wasn't like there was any natural instigation for that. It's just the police decided they made the rule that they're going to get back to normal when 2021 rolled around.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that was ironic because they were the one problem that wasn't a problem in 2020. It
No,
was great that they
exactly.
were out of the picture. We didn't,
Well,
nobody missed them. Cool things were happening. We were doing these shows. Everyone was saying, "Man, why can't this happen every weekend? This is great." You know, you go in the park and have a huge thing, and that's really how music scenes like rock and roll and jazz and all that started
yeah, yeah.
initially.
Of course,
With
of
people were doing
course.
this stuff outside, and there weren't as many
Yeah,
rules, so people were getting away with things.
and even
So
back
we
in
got a taste of that
speakeasy
in the lockdown.
days, back in the old days in blues, like in little shacks out in the. Do you know what I mean? It's the rebel
Yo,
music, isn't it?
yeah, no, hey, specific, no, not even just small one. It was right in the middle of the streets. Chicago. You watch those videos of Chicago or New York, Harlem back in the day. They were everywhere,
Yeah.
and to be honest, this is funny. There were guys. So we got a wide array of people hearing us and watching us. There were guys. There was one guy when we played our election jam in after the Biden
Wash.
election.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, we have no political standing with any of this stuff. We go where there are people and we set up in front of them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's
Yeah. Yeah. Of
our
course.
instigation. Where you know we were not trying to send a message. We agree with half of the stuff that we were kind of representing sometimes. I
I
won't get
think
into
the
all that,
idea
but
is what I get from that song is like I can feel there's a electricity in the park because of how people
well,
feel,
whole
and that feeds through
you
you
know, I
guys.
mean, that's basically what was cool was there were a ton of people ready to party and excited,
Yeah.
and we showed up right on the spot and did something that nobody expected.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even walking up, I have a little video of me walking up past the DJs, like before we're setting up. I was just like, we were driving by. We were going to set up across the street. The Biden election was announced, whatever. And no one cared about Biden. Everybody was happy Trump was gone, you know. No one thought
Yeah.
twice about anything. You know, it was just,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
but everybody just poured out into the streets. And we're driving by there to set up to do our normal thing on Barry across from McCarran Park. And we saw the park overloaded with me and Rubio, and I said, fuck that, we're going right there. We're going right there. We're setting them up right in front of everybody. They're going to let the fucking shit. We're doing it. And everybody, you know, I was just adamant. And I was just mumbling and going crazy the whole time. Like, we are doing it. We are fucking doing this right now. And, you know, we went over there, and I've got a video just right up of me walking past, holding it and showing it to the crowd and saying, you motherfuckers have no fucking idea what we're about to fucking hell. You know, like, we were really stoked about that. And it went really well. Like, the whole thing was, but here's what's funny. So, well, funny, like we were talking about how this stuff used to happen. So a guy came up who had seen us in the beginning, apparently. He said, yeah, I saw you when you started. He's like, I'm proud of you, man. You guys have done really good. And he said he used to host events in that same park in the 70s. And he said, this is exactly what that was. This feels exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it's just people being allowed to get out. The talent is there. The musicians are there. The people do react the same to it. It's just there's like this middleman of the industry and all the rules that we have today that don't allow people to go out and do that stuff. So that was what was, you know, and it's really sad, you know, like we got interviewed through this whole time on a few little podcasts, small things. We got a lot of buzz around New York City. People forget quick, but there was a lot of buzz. And people were praising us as doing a public service, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like people were saying, it was great to have something like that. This is the best thing that happened to these neighborhoods throughout the whole.
Yeah,
and
I remember a girl saying, like, you helped me through my revision. Like I had like a load of revision to do, and you guys were playing outside the library, and like it helped me get through my whole revision and everything.
Yeah,
so
I mean, honestly, there is, and in real time, if you were hanging out with us and going through all this stuff, there were no end of these stories. My inbox was full 100% of the time. People were sending us all kinds of stuff. It was just the coolest thing. We were so proud of it. And it, you know, to be received like that. And then also we know how many people complain because the cops would come and tell us. It was the same number. These are neighborhoods with like 10,000 people living in them.
Wow.
They'd get like 6 complaints or something, 5 or 6. And we'd have to cater to those instead of the majority of people who thought it was awesome. And we were real careful. We were thoughtful. We weren't doing it at night when people were trying to sleep. We were trying to stay away from where people had too much work to do. We were only there for, you know, we would show up for a couple hours once or twice a week. And we would vary the area, so it wouldn't be the same place, you know?
Yeah, of course,
And it just wasn't a problem, you know? There wasn't, so for them to come up and start acting like, you know, it was just ridiculous. And then we're thinking the whole time, yo, we don't get paid at all for any of this. And you motherfuckers have salaries for being public servants.
Right.
So, and while we're being praised for doing a public service, and everybody fucking hates you. The whole year last year, we didn't have you.
Especially
and everything was great. Anyway, there's a lot of dichotomous shit going on. You know, the whole thing gave us a real insight to culture, everything. We could. I mean, I'll save this for the book, man. It's coming later.
Yeah, you should.
Again, I just caught myself.
It's going to be a good book, though. It's going to be such a good book.
I could write some. I could really. I don't know, but then you got to sell that also. You know, we have a good band. And we can't figure out how to market that.
or you got to sign on with Bezos, and who wants to do that? Do you know what I mean? So, it's Amazon self-publishing. But what I was going to say is, so what we're doing a bit too much sales on the book and not enough on the single. So
you know, it's like Michael, I got my own art form, man.
So Michael was asking what's coming out. So I should say it's Chicken Named Abdul, the vocal version, that's coming out on streaming.
We have,
like in a week or so, hopefully. I think, in theory, as long as nothing's messed up.
You know, cool. As you know, we sent a bunch of our other recordings to you to release as you wish. That's all going to be cool with the single clubs. And Chicken Named Abdul was the main one we were focused on. Because we didn't release, that was one of the only ones that we had good recording of the vocals on.
Very clear, nice vocal on that.
Really so that and
a good take and a good vocal take as well. So it really comes off.
We like that one.
Nicely.
And there's a crowd there
it's a
too,
crazy thing.
People cheering.
it's a crazy thing trying to nail a vocal live that you're going to want to listen to for like the rest of your life. Do you know what I mean? That's
I
like,
mean, yeah, right. You know, and we're not thinking that way when we're going out and playing. We
of
thought of it
course.
as busking at first. You know, we're not thinking this shit's gonna last forever. You
Yeah,
know, we're
yeah,
not thinking everybody's gonna be recording it and putting it all over. You know, the
yeah,
great
yeah,
thing was, as musicians, we can pull it off. We sound. It's hard to do anything like that. We love how we were able to make it sound good as players.
yeah.
Vocally, I'm not on the level, but still, we got some good stuff anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
I
for
like it.
that.
It comes off really nice. It's got nice. It's got that nice, like relaxed feel, like the. I guess people like, I guess Hendrix and to a degree, it
Yeah.
sounds like it sounds weird to say, but like Anthony Kiedis or something, where it's got that kind of like it just sits nicely on the music
Well,
when it's right.
yeah,
You
well,
know,
you know, they
like
were
old Anthony.
well, the Chili Peppers were they had funk going on.
Yeah,
They were laid
I'm a
back, you know.
I'm a
Um,
Blood Sugar Sex Magic Mother's Milk kid
I
anyway,
mean,
so you
yeah,
know it's big
me
stuff for
too.
me. You know, like really
Yeah, yeah.
important.
I mean,
And like they had that
it's
link to Hendrix as well. They do like
they
Castle
did, and they
Mates
were also,
band
you
and
know, they started their history was as a street band. You know, before they had Blood, Sex, Sugar Mountain, they were already a band for 10 years, doing all
yeah,
kinds of crazy stuff around L.A. They were
yeah,
just, you know, they were they were a couple kids from Hollywood High, man.
yeah,
I actually
yeah.
knew people that went to high school with them when I lived in
Really?
LA, you know, and yeah, and they
What did
were,
they
you know,
do?
they were psycho kids, you know, they were doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, I heard, yeah, if you read, I've just got, I've just got hold of Flea's book, so I'll no doubt read about that
Oh, I
quite
gotta
soon.
check that out. I read,
So,
yeah, I've read the Anthony Kiedis bio,
yeah,
and I really loved that. Actually, that
yeah.
was a fun book.
It's really weird with those books because there's always a kind of like it's going so well, it's going so well, it's going so well. Oh dear, it's not going well anymore. Like, it's like the Dirt,
Yeah.
the Motley Crue book. It's like we're on a rocket ship to Mars, and then suddenly it's crashing down. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, there's a lot of yeah, those kind of books are the best, really. I think. But yeah,
You know, I've
but
heard the
yeah,
Guns N' Roses one was really good. I think Aerosmith has one
I
too.
can
See,
imagine.
I'm
I
not
can
as
imagine.
interested in Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses, but the books are still
Yeah, books are different.
cool,
Reading
man.
about bands is like I only got into Motley Crue by reading The Dirt. I just had to get some context, like for what I was
You know,
reading.
I mean, the scene. I mean, their lives were awesome, man. They did so much cool shit. You know,
Yeah,
so it doesn't. You don't have to like the music to look at that, read that stuff, and be like, holy crap, you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with the music.
No, I mean, like
No, there isn't.
depends which ones you're picking, really, for me. But
I mean,
I
it
can
depends on it's personal. Depends on your
I could
taste.
probably throw away like half Motley Crue's career and keep the other half and say you could never throw it away. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so
Actually,
yeah.
to tell
So
the
when
truth, I've never stopped liking "Kickstart My Heart." I always,
no, who could? Yeah,
I
that
put
and
that shit on hard.
Live Wire as well for me. I love and Doctor Feelgood, all really good.
Yeah, Dr. Feelgood. That was the album. I had that on tape in like the sixth grade
Yeah,
back in
that's
the day.
crazy. Bob Rock production, that huge.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, it's like that huge. Everything's huge. Like there's no small sounds. Like the drums are huge, the bass is huge, the guitars are huge, the vocals are huge. Yeah, everything's like so big.
Yeah, I mean, they layered. I mean, that was '80s production all the way. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's. I mean, that's kind of what the '90s like Cobain and stuff was pushing against in a way.
yeah. Pulled right
You know,
back.
like
I.
people
That's
think it was
why I
a
like.
smooth
I'm a
transition, but
'90s.
it was actually in reaction. What's
Yeah,
that?
I'm a '90s kid, so like I'm like all about that kind of more close mic'd drums and things like that. That's kind of I'm not into that
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, me as
You know,
well. You
the
know.
gated snare is like not my jam. So
Yeah,
yeah. So but
yeah. I
you've been
mean,
doing some
yeah. That's what
recording.
I hate. You know, actually, that was one problem we had with the band before was the Merrymakers Orchestrina. Our
Mm,
drummer mixed the album, and he was super in the '80s, you know, and I
yeah.
don't like that sound for drums especially. He was an
Yeah.
awesome drummer, and I felt like we sounded better live than we did. You know, we did a super studio album, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, for
and
me
that's
those big snares like there's tons of like the early Chili's, the early Faith No More, the early Living Color, all of that stuff for me is slightly
I mean,
not ruined, but I just don't like
I mean,
those
really,
snare
all
gates.
80s drums sounds the
Yeah.
same.
Mm.
It's got this, hard sound. It's a super studio sound. They were going for like studio perfection and getting a really consistent sound to make. I mean, they were trying to make it sound the same, and
Yeah,
they did a
yeah.
good job. And that's why you have like all these incredible virtuosos from that time at specific things. But they're not. It's not necessarily good musicianship, and I think that's why everybody has moved away from it.
Yeah, I mean, perfecting something is not the same as nailing it, really, is it? So,
Yeah, I
like,
mean, it depends on what you're perfecting, and I think it was the wrong focus in that era,
yeah,
at least for
probably.
what was
So, and you're
that. That's
recording at the
personal.
moment. How are you approaching recording like actuals, like an album?
Oh,
What's
us?
your
So we're going
process? Yeah.
hardcore, man. What we did. So our street album is just iPhone recordings, right? So what
Mm,
we did to record this, and I'm recording the vocals separately, but I'm still keeping them pretty single takes and stuff.
sure.
But we went in and played all the tracks in 2 or 3 takes, and just kept one full take for each one. We're not doing any punches or edits, and
Yeah.
it's just us as a trio instrumentally,
Wicked.
and it's all reel to reel, So we did it like it's almost like before they would have done in
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the super
Amazing.
in the 60s. It's really like
So it's
50s,
all
40s,
on
50s
tape,
jazz era.
and it's all
What's
on
that?
tape. Yeah. Is it all on tape?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was all reel to reel.
Oh, that's gonna sound
And
so
the guys,
nice
it
as
was
well.
cheap as hell. What's that?
That's gonna sound so nice. The drums and everything. Do you know what I
Yo,
mean?
it really it worked. Like we never know how it's gonna turn out. We listened
Mm.
back, we were like, dude, this is the sound, It's like
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
we're really excited about it, And
Wicked.
it
Awesome.
really, what's funny is when you go reel to reel, everybody tries to get that sound digitally. Tries,
Mm.
and you do
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this
I know.
stuff and you get it
All,
pretty good.
all the
But it's a
plugins.
real pain in the ass. Like if you just go reel to reel, it's gonna have it out of the gate
Mm-hmm.
like that, and it's gonna be cheap, it's gonna be quick, and it's gonna be easy. The thing is, if you do that, it's really hard to edit. So bands today they
Yeah.
rely on editing.
Yeah, yeah.
They rely on it completely,
Yeah.
and they rely on studio. So to record analog reel to reel is not convenient for most rock
No.
groups at this
No.
time. But if you can
Yeah.
pull it off, it's going to be the best sound.
Yeah, I totally believe that. Like I grew up like working in studios with 8-track recorders and things like that. So, I was always like a tape kid when I was growing up. And I feel
Yeah,
like tape, in a strange way, the restriction actually makes you more creative as well.
absolutely. It forces the musicians to play straight takes and focus on their playing, instead of like now the standard thing is you basically go in and they hold you to the standard of guys that were master studio musicians who, after years and years of tape recording, became able to go in one take and nail it. And
Sure.
now they expect everybody to do that, and if you don't do that, all they do is you go in, you do it, you fuck it up, it's horrible, then they just edit
Fix
it
it.
all digitally and make
Yeah,
it
yeah.
perfect. You can basically go in, mumble half a sentence, and fall headfirst into a fucking drum kit, and they'll fix it into a beat and a rhythm and a melody and make it perfect, And
I'm
then
pretty
the
sure
sad
I'm
thing is,
pretty
then you
sure
go
I
and lip
sound
sync it
I'm pretty
live. So
sure I
no,
heard that
really.
on the radio last night. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I heard what you're talking about on the radio last night.
I
I
mean, you
think
can hear what I'm talking about everywhere. That's all music today. It's completely widespread. It's the standard, And they don't even give you a chance to develop. If you are good, basically, you're the minority. If you're a good band, the people that are paying and going and doing this, for the most part, it makes it accessible to everybody. So most of them are not good,
yeah, yeah.
and they're the majority, and they're what the whole scene caters to. So that
Yeah.
if you are good, you're not going to be the normal thing that a producer is used to working with. They won't even know how to work with you, and they're going to force you to do it the way that the other guys do it. And they're not going to give you a
Yeah.
chance to try all the things that you need to do to really bring out
Yeah.
your artistry and make. So they'll take a great band and they'll take a really shit band and make them sound mediocre. They'll take a great band and also make them sound mediocre.
Sound mediocre. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
basically how it works.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
and that's the profession, and they make a ton of money doing that. I mean, that's how you make money today. A big part of
yeah.
the problem is you don't make money anywhere in music at all. Your
Well,
recordings,
now, yeah. Now it's all just a weird process
it's
in trying
free.
to reach perfection for no reason, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody can do it, so everybody does do it, including people who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Especially,
So,
mostly people who don't know what they're doing.
but I think like people
And
want to hear. I think people want to hear humanity. Like I think
they do.
like the
and
technology is only a device to deliver more humanity.
people do feel it. People do notice it. They do know it. They know it on some level. And the proof for us was when we went out and the reactions we got from everybody across the board, anywhere we went, playing well live, it was just a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and it would happen like, it's the opposite of usual. Everybody comes to support and be cool. Oh, my friend's playing, whatever, and all this. And then they kind of lose interest by the end, but they're still there.
Yeah.
For us, it's like they would be like, what's going on at first? And then by the end of our sets, we'd have a huge crowd of people cheering everything on, you know, and they'd be like, what the hell is this, you know? You're just not hearing that. You're just not hearing that in rock and roll, especially today. Jazz, jazz, like the jazzers, that's a scene, because they're good. So this is the dichotomy. To the musicians today are actually, they've trained hard, they've learned a lot of stuff, they're actually better than they've ever been, but they don't have the chance to go out and develop in the ways that they want to and do their own ideas. Because
it's interesting that you look at the industry of music now, and there's precious few musicians actually in it. Like you don't see musical instruments.
We're a minority.
You don't see.
Our field has been hijacked from us. There's nothing we can do. You know, we are like, that was part of my King Crash analogy of, you know, scratching at the gates of our own castle. And, you know, crazy, drowning in the gutters. You know? Like we built this thing. The industry was formed around people like us, and now we're kicked out of it, you know? Like, or we're, you know.
In answer to Michael's question in there, the 8-track tape that I worked on, it was in the late 90s. So I am quite old, yes, but it wasn't as old as, it wasn't like I'm as old that I was working with Hendrix or something. It was 8-track tape.
And truthfully, I think the pattern was on its way since the 70s. You know, it was just escalating towards what it became, and it got kick-started with the internet and digital technology.
Well, I mean, digital technology
in 2010.
It's wonderful that everybody can do some music, but it's not wonderful that everybody can fake some music, I think.
I mean, the whole thing is, if something can be used as either a crutch or a tool, 99.99% of everybody that does it is going to use it as a crutch, and that's going to become the standard. So it can be an incredible tool, but
when I was
studying, what's the incentive for breaking your balls to do that when you don't make any money on any level anywhere, and the only thing that that makes you succeed is your promo and marketing antics, and not the music. Why even waste your whole life learning how to play an instrument when you're not going to make anything from it at the end? You're going to, you know, I mean, the reason people do it, and the reason the pest people do it, is because they are absolutely obsessed with it. They can't do anything else. You know, like Rubio could never play and he's like me. We could never play in commercial bands. We just won't fit in with the guys. We'll just react badly to it. We'll start talking shit, and we'll just leave the band and quit and make a fucking scene. And that's the pattern with that's really, those are the people who are capable of doing the most innovative things in music and in any art form, and they're by and large shunned today, not on purpose.
Well, it's a lot to do with walking your own.
System.
It's a lot to do with walking your own path, isn't it? Really, it's to do with walking your own path as an individual.
But you want
harder and harder nowadays.
That, you know? So it is. So, and actually, someone complimented me as that, saying we cut our own lane. Which is, and he's known me for years and known what I've been doing for a long time. You know, I didn't just fall out of the sky with King Crash. By the way, we started this conversation about the name. So when the band started, we picked that name on the spot the first day we played out. You know?
Wicked.
And you know, we kind of half agreed on it, and then we're like, we're doing it. Fuck it, King Crash. Me and Rubio really, we like the name. I like the name a lot. So that's
it's great. It's like impactful. It's obviously impactful because it's got Crash in the title. But it's as impactful as a name can be, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there were a lot of meanings for it for me, because I did my first pseudonym for a band name was Broken Arrow, just feeling like I was doing a lot, but I just couldn't get there. Broken Arrow. And then I did this whole thing with the Merrymakers Orchestrina. I was thinking, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was always kind of a fool and a clown on the outskirts doing everything. And all my
Right,
life, I
yeah,
was
yeah.
always a clown in one way or another. And then, whether it's in my choices or just being a fucking smirking off and stuff. But the and the Merrymakers, the orchestra Merrymaker, sorry, an orchestrina. So that's a Merrymaker. An
Yeah, yeah.
orchestrina is a little music box, like a little wind up,
Right,
like
yeah,
old
yeah.
school. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were my idea was the clown is the entertainer in a castle, in an old whatever,
Yeah. With little
in
music box
the
music.
court systems back in the day. He's the entertainer of the thing, so that's what represents entertainers. And the
Yeah.
orchestrina, and I wrote a whole story. There's a song. I have a song. It's going to be on our album called The
Right.
Merrymakers Orchestrina.
Yeah.
And we've got someone asking when our next show is. Yo, we don't have a next show. We're not getting booked. Yo, people haven't.
Someone
We haven't
get in
been.
touch with your venues and ask them. If you live in New
You know,
York,
it's
get
they're
in touch
playing the
with
same
venues.
game, and it
Just
doesn't work.
ask them when
There's
King
a whole
Crash are
scene. I couldn't
playing.
talk about that. So hey, we have an idea. We're gonna try it. We're gonna go. We liked. I mean, what we did was the first thing that worked for us. So what we're gonna try to do now is crash ball games and
Really? Crikey.
music festivals. So we're gonna try it for the first time on Friday. We're gonna go play in the parking lot of a music festival. Now it's still the whole process of getting booked for these things
Yeah,
is this
yeah.
huge fucking thing that just it's just full of all kinds of bullshit. People are booking for the wrong reasons. They're not,
Mm-hmm.
it's all a promo game. It's all no one cares how good you are, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what, fuck you, man. There's a reason that there isn't as good. There's just not that much good music today, and it's because
Mm-hmm.
of this antic and everything. So we're gonna try to go just play in the parking lots and see what happens with that.
But but
Hopefully we don't
genuinely,
get shut down.
but
What's that?
genuinely, you should just get your followers, anyone who's in New York, to call up their local venue and
Yo, they
ask.
didn't show up. We had 2 gigs. We had 2 gigs here. We had like 5, 10 people show up. So it's
Yeah,
the same shit. I think
that's
if
the
we'd have done
life.
that
That's
in the
the
height
life.
of when we were doing that. What's
Yeah,
that?
that's exactly how it goes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. Well, but guess what? We did break past that. You have to understand how fickle audiences are and
Mm,
how fickle momentum is. You have to do it
yeah,
while you're doing it. Because when we did a show at Culture Lab right at the height of when we were doing the King Crash
yeah,
outdoor stuff. 100 people showed up to see us, and that's all strangers that we didn't know. And we've
yeah,
only been
yeah,
at it for like a month or two,
yeah, yeah.
and it was specifically for us. So like, it does work. You just have to be doing insane amount of shit
But
like
you
what
got
we
to
were doing, which is just
pile on
ridiculous.
the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. Always getting
Yeah, and then
bigger.
if
Eh,
and just people forget about you real quick when other stuff
Yeah,
happens. So, and we're getting
yeah.
associated with 2000. So it's almost like a dirty word. Don't talk about the 2020. Like,
Oh, yeah,
oh
but
well,
I don't
that's
think.
over and gone now. Well, but
You're
we
the
weren't
best thing
really
about.
part of
You're
that,
one of the
man. We
best
were
things
just
about it. You're one of the best things about the lockdown. You're like one of the best things that happened as a
I mean, I
result of
think
it.
we showed. I think we exemplified what is possibly the best thing about that stuff. It's like, yo, the world should fall apart. It should fall apart, and we should have to rebuild it. And we shouldn't,
Mm,
now we're coming back to the same stuff, and I mean, I'm seeing it right here in New York.
yeah, it's
Yo,
quite
man, people
stale.
think, like, people were saying before it's coming, like, I think things are going to go better. It's like, no, they're not, man. Things are going to be tied down even worse. It's going to be harder. Everything, and I swear I'm seeing it happen. And I feel like, anyway, this is a whole thing to get into, but
That's another thing. It's a whole
it's
nother thing, isn't
like,
it? I
yeah,
think
it
we'll
really
save
is.
that one
Oh
for
man,
the
it's a
yeah,
huge topic.
save that one
But we,
for the other
truthfully,
podcast.
what we did exemplifies what's going on. I think we were reflecting, even if
Yeah,
not deliberately.
I think
I think art
that
reflects society.
yeah,
Like
you were what people felt like things should be like. Whether they end up being like that
yeah,
or not is another
you
thing.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, completely. I agree. I agree
and
totally. So then,
and people don't. Also, it's huge. It's huge thoughts. Not everybody agrees. Not everybody gets there. But
yeah,
it is analyzable. It is real.
yeah, and I guess
And there is one person that's right and another that's wrong. It's not like everybody gets to be right.
right, yeah, I guess we just don't even know necessarily until the end, do we always? So is the problem. The truth will out, isn't it?
What's up?
I said the truth will out. So yeah. Will Project Band is saying
Yeah, I think
why
the
did you
truth
say
gets
you're not
scary
getting
first.
booked? So
we're just not, you know, because people, they're going for the same. People are booking other bands, other bands that have been doing the whole same thing. We're not normal, man. We don't fit into
Yeah,
any scene. We
yeah,
don't even fit into the busking scene here. Like
sure,
we're not included in all that. We were way louder. We were
sure.
we had actual sets. We weren't just like sitting there playing, doodling around and
Yeah,
repeating stuff. We were playing concerts. We were
yeah,
really
yeah.
going
And
through.
it's important to remember that you're playing your own music as well. Like most people who
Yeah.
play outside now, they play something
No,
that
no
people are
one,
going to
no
know and
one
like.
was
Yeah,
doing what we were doing. No one was prepared to do what we did.
yeah,
That's the other thing is we I'd already done the impossible in putting this band together before this
yeah,
even happened, and then we saw the opportunity, and it just fit in perfectly. And
yeah,
we
yeah,
know, we know musicians that are better than us. We know all over New York. We know we know all kinds of stuff. We don't know anybody who has it together that actually got it going and wrote
yeah,
all the
yeah.
material and did all the fucking things that we did to set up a band that we based on basically just what we think things should be like, even though it makes no sense today at all. And
Sure.
then so we were the only band sitting there that could even have done what we were doing. And
Yeah,
then we actually took advantage of it, and then we actually got after it for a whole
yeah,
year,
yeah,
as long as we could.
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Oh, by the way, we made $200 the first day, so right away I was said, "Shit, we're doing it. We're doing it,
yeah,
guys. We're doing it
yeah,
every day."
yeah.
You know,
Completely. That's what you needed.
um,
That's the sign. It's
that
basically
is,
just
and
another
that's hey,
sign that you need to carry on. All you need
and
as a
that's the
musician
next thing.
is the next little sign that you're doing the right thing, isn't it? Like I think
Yeah,
musicians, we just need one, like another thing to go. Oh yeah, okay. Just because we like, it's such a hard path that you can doubt
I mean,
that you're
no.
doing the
Here's the
right thing
thing:
all the time.
if money's not coming in, you can't do it.
Mm.
You need money to come in. You need to pay people. People can't. A band is going to fall apart if no one's getting paid.
Yeah,
You know, if someone's not sitting there, and I've done it. That's the reason I pay isn't because these guys wouldn't do it for free. The
yeah,
reason I
yeah,
pay is to keep everybody going, you
yeah,
know, and to keep it organized.
yeah, yeah.
And like I didn't pay them for a long time, and they were cool.
Sure.
When we found Rubio, he did it a whole year without. He never asked to be paid. I finally said, "Yo, guys, I'm going to start paying you,"
Yeah, yeah,
and it's important.
yeah, yeah.
Now the person who's obviously getting the shit end of the stick across the board is me.
Oh, of course, yeah. That
I'm
isn't
not
that
making.
always the way though. If you're writing your own songs, then you're always the one who's got the shit end of the
Yo,
stick.
I mean, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, and it's impossible. And that's the other reason. Honestly, I am, apart from being a pretty artistic and well versed artist and
Sure.
player, and being very innovative and all this stuff. I'm like physically very tough, and I'm really scrappy, and I find ways to make money and do stuff. Now
Right.
you can't expect an artist to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why should that be a necessity for an artist?
Yeah, it's
Because
pretty
it's going to
crazy,
cut
isn't
out.
it?
I mean, luckily I'm like that and able to do it, but most people are not. Like, even,
Yeah.
and my guys know this. Rubio especially, he appreciates all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah, it's all about like the hustle and the graft, isn't it? It's like there's so much like just to carry on doing the music thing, you have to do so much else just to keep on
And
for
why?
that
And
hour
honestly,
that you get to
even though,
play or
like,
that.
I mean, if I told you the story of all the shit I did here, it's just fucking insane. But like,
Yeah,
and
again,
even going
save it
back
for
all the way, it's just insane. It's one insane story after another.
the
But but
biography is going to have to be an audiobook, and you're going to have to put it out on Quickfix recordings now because we've hyped it. Your biography is going to have to be an audiobook, and
it
it's
needs
going
to
to have to
come.
be on
Everyone
the
wants the
Quickfix.
bio. Well, guess what? You know what? I don't owe anybody a fucking insight into my life. I'm selling
Yeah,
my
but
music, man.
think
That's
of the think of the
it's like
it might fund the rest of it. You might be able to pay for an album off the back of the audiobook.
okay, if I spend a year writing a book, after I pay off the editors and all this stuff, why can't I just make money from the albums I'm putting off that I mean, here's the thing, and I'm just telling you this, there becomes a limit to what one person can do.
Yes, of course.
And,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
There's a girl. There's a girl potentially watching in the
I
chat,
don't know why we're
Daisy,
not getting booked. These guys are asking stuff right
who's
here.
helping me because
I don't know the answer to that. Part of it, what's that?
oh, it's all right. It's
I'm
all right. I've
sorry,
moved
Lee.
on to something else. whose butt do they want you to kiss? Yeah, I don't know. All of the butts, all the time.
No, it's it's not a game that surrounds whether people like you or whether your music is good. It surrounds completely your networking skills, your connections, and the amount of money you're investing in to harbor those
absolutely.
connections. You know,
Absolutely,
to feed it.
100%.
And it's a lot of money. People pay really the price, the entrance fee to the music industry today is
Huge.
acknowledged at being hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And people don't know this. I know this because I had a little publicist, a cheap one, for the merrymaker orchestra. He filled me in on shit. And I'll tell you secrets. Taylor Swift, her dollar amount, they don't go to discover them at a bar. They tell you that, but that's not what's fucking happening. They pumped I'm sorry.
Of course.
They pumped $1 million. Her dad pumped $1 million into her campaigning before she was famous, before they even listened to it and decided to sign her. You know, and that's what you have to do to get their attention. You don't just play and go. They're not getting gigs. They're not getting booked. It's all a money game. It's just completely corrupt. People don't understand the extent to which the whole thing is absolutely
so
fucked.
nuts.
And that's
it's so nuts.
Well, that's what we got around, you know, with this whole thing last year, and that's what's great about it, you know.
Yeah. Well, the world needs to fall apart a couple more times, and then you can get really famous.
Yeah, right. All we need is another pandemic.
Is that your next plan? No, stop it. No.
Yeah. You know what? All I need to do is develop a disease and put it in the water supply.
Yeah, so is that what it takes to get banned?
There we go. That's all it takes. Yeah, just, you know, I'll do the tutorial. I'll sell tutorials on how to do it online. You know, here's how you succeed in music today, everybody. Here's the antic. Go to China, get yourself a couple bats and pigs.
So
Sorry,
stop. We should probably wrap up because it's coming up to the hour and we're going to get cut off anyway. But is there anything else? Like, where do you want people to basically follow your Instagram?
Well, you know what you can do, everybody. I want people to. So it's a numbers game still for us. We're trying to get into this whole system I'm talking about. So for us, one thing you can do is visit our. We need to get our Spotify going, and I'm working on this. It's working. It's coming.
Yeah.
But if people go listen to that, and just. If you want to support us, just give us those listens. Just give us the
Put it on a
streams.
loop.
Show it to your friends. Get as much as you can. You know.
Yeah.
That's really what you could support, or you could send me like a lot of money to my Venmo, King Crash. You know, if you feel like it, just send me as much money as you want. I have no upper limit to how much money I'm willing to accept from anybody.
Awesome. And also, obviously, you can join the Singles Club because then for every person who joins the Singles Club, we can put. It's all right. That's my job, and then we can put that money into pushing, and then we can use that to push Chicken Named Abdul as well. So you know, so that's all. Yeah. So that's really handy as well. So yeah.
You know,
so
a rising tide raises all ships. We're involved. If things go up for you, they go up for us. They go up for everybody. You're trying to do the good thing. We're trying to fight the good fight, do the good thing.
Yeah.
So these are good places for anybody to get involved and push their support towards, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we'll get as many people to do it as possible.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I was just saying it because there's going to be people watch this back, and so I've got to make sure I do my advertising. Do you know what I mean?
No, and we're excited about Chicken Named Abdul and to be part of Quickfix, you know? That's great.
Yeah.
You know, the Singles Club is a really cool idea. And, you know,
thanks.
Really, if either one of us we'll help each other out, you know. That's how it works. If one, you know, we need success in the right places to support each other, doing the things that people want to hear.
Absolutely.
You know? We know you want to hear it. We know you want
to hear it. Yeah. I think people sometimes don't even know they want to hear it as much as we know they need it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it happens. Like that's what I'm saying. We went out and did that. People did not expect what we did at all, and they loved it. And that's the best thing when you're and we're playing for crowds of strangers. You know, we're playing for random people on the street. For them to react the way they did says everything. Like it's a dead end to go to venues and play in a back room for nobody new that hears you at all. You're just bringing your family and friends to hear you, which, you know, truthfully, any seasoned musician isn't going to be able to do that because they've been playing their whole life. Their family and friends don't give a fuck anymore. They're not going to show up. And they don't, you know, they don't want to play that.
Yeah, absolutely true. You got those 3 loyal ones. Those 3 who still pay attention. You know? Yeah,
Yo, man,
that's
this
cool, man.
speakerphone sucks.
Oh, don't worry about it. You can watch it all back later.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, wicked. Thanks for spending the time.
Wicked.
Thanks for taking the time, and yeah, really fun talking to you. We'll get
You
that
as well,
chicken
Lee.
as well. Don't worry. We'll sort
Yeah. Oh
out
yeah.
Abdul.
Chickens. Look. Yeah.
We'll get him.
Abdul. We've
We'll
got
get
to.
him.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Chicken. He's going down. Chicken stew. Rooster stew.
Awesome. You leave whenever you
Awesome,
like,
man.
and I'm going to play them one more track that's coming up off of the EP thing. We'll go for the park one, I think. Wicked. Cool, man. Take care of yourself,
man.
Ryan, and say hi to the guys
You as
for
well,
us.
Lee.
Awesome, wicked. Take
Great
care of
talking.
yourself.
Have a good night, and thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thanks very much to Ryan for joining us. That was really fun and interesting. This is the park, which is going to be one of the tracks on the Bandcamp. Bandcamp's going to come out probably around the same time as the streaming. There'll be a Bandcamp day right after it, so all the artists get all the money on the Bandcamp day. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. There's like loads of great stuff. I'm going to shut up for a minute. Listen. So you'll be able to get this and like loads of really good stuff on the Bandcamp one, which will be in about a week's time. So, and Chicken Named Abdul will be streaming. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Appreciate you spending your time with us, and thanks to King Crash, Ryan, and yeah, take care of yourselves. I'm going to sign off. Thanks. Take care, Michael, Mikowski, Christian. You rule. It's us Christians. We're the best. Take care of yourself.